So welcome to the series Real Talk with Elliott. And first of all, before I get started on today's video, I just want to say thank you guys for contributing all of your questions. This series cannot exist without your interaction, and it means so much to me that you continue to watch these videos, send in your questions, and make this series as awesome and fun for me as it is. And I love interacting with you and answering your questions. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And today's question is a good one, and it comes from Addester Williams Pointer. And the question is, with the economy being as tight as it is, how do you still help others when you're barely staying afloat? Well, Addester, that's such a really, really good question, because things are really, really tight. I mean, I'm 45 years old and I don't remember the world being quite like this. And I was just talking to somebody recently about, like, when I got out of college, like if I were getting out of college today, I don't think I could make it. Like it's too hard to afford living. Like it's too hard to afford gas. Like the circumstances are just so challenging right now. Gas costing the way it is and food prices the way they are, like it's remarkable. So I think this is actually when helping others is even more important. And I think this is when we come together as a community. And it's also when we remember that what people need support with actually is not financial, it's connectedness. Like I remember growing up in Chicago, and the neighborhood would pull together and pull their resources together. So there was this woman who lived a couple of houses down from me, and she used to make Kool-Aid. And she would pour the Kool-Aid in styrofoam cups, and then she would hand out, and she would put it in the freezer. So the Kool-Aid would freeze, and then the styrofoam cups, us kids, we would like lick the ice. And then we would peel the styrofoam cup and like lick the ice. It was almost like a little frozen treat. And she would give those away to all the kids in the neighborhood. And when one person went to the grocery store, they would share their resources with the neighborhood. And to this day, I remember the neighborhood coming together for like barbecues, that everyone pulled their resources together to make the barbecue happen. Or someone would make treats like those styrofoam cup little homemade Kool-Aid freeze pops, and someone else would like make a cake, and the community really banded together. And this was a community that didn't have a lot of resources. It was a very poor community in inner city Chicago, and we pulled together, and the neighborhood was so tight knit, and the neighborhood was so close. And the reason it was so close was because we used each other's resources to lean on each other. And I think that's what we need now, is to remember that we're not individuals going through this difficult time. We're a community, and we need to be a community again, and pool our resources so that we can go through this and be successful together. I think the other thing that I would say as a reminder is, in times like this, in difficult times like this, it's not, I don't need, like, somebody giving me money doesn't make me feel good, or somebody like giving me things doesn't feel good. But what does feel good is knowing that someone loves and cares for me. What does feel good is someone supports me. And what does feel good is there's somebody ensuring that no matter what I'm going through, I'm not going through it alone. And I think that reminds me of the power of a hug and of a handshake. You know, it doesn't cost me any money to walk around my neighborhood and knock on doors and just check on people. Like, is everybody okay? How are we doing? And if someone says no, give them a hug. Share bread with them. But that's, I think, what we need more than anything is connection. And it doesn't cost me a dime to share connection. It doesn't cost me a dime to walk across my neighborhood and say, I'm about to go to the grocery store, and just so everybody in this neighborhood doesn't have to spend gas, is there anybody needs here that I can pick up from the grocery store to stop them from having to make an extra trip. Because we're at a time right now where gas is so expensive, some people can't afford to make that extra trip to the grocery store. Things like that are what we need, and it doesn't cost me any money to be there as a support for other people. And it doesn't cost me any money to check on people, and it doesn't cost me any money to smile at people and make other people smile. It doesn't cost me any money to give a hug. So I think the way we do this is to pull together, Addester. I think the way we do this is to pull together and remember that money and things are great, but connectedness is even more important. I think back on my childhood, and I grew up without a whole lot, of money. But I remember my mom being there all the time, and I remember being super close to my brothers, and in a weird way, it made how much we had or didn't have less relevant. And I want you to focus on, I might not, because we're all struggling. I don't know that any of us have a bunch of money to go give it out to people, but I can sure give out a lot of hugs. I can sure give out a lot of smiles. And those are the things that matter more. So, Addester, I hope that answer helps you, because it's hard to be there when we're barely afloat ourselves. But I think it's important. And it's also good for us when we are struggling to be there for someone else and show up in service and show up in kindness and show up in care. It's actually good for us as well. So let's take this opportunity to bond as a community, and let's take this opportunity to pull together, and let's take this opportunity to remember what people need more than anything else is hugs, smiling, togetherness, kindness, and care. And those things don't cost anything. So thank you so much, Addester, for your question. And thank all of you. I hope you benefited from hearing me give an answer to her. And please keep sending in your questions. You can send in your questions by leaving a comment below on this video. You can send me an email. I'll leave the email address on the screen. And you can also send me a text message to 972-426-2640. I'll put that on the screen too. And text me, and I will make a video and help you in any way I can. This is so fun for me. I'm really excited, and I cannot wait to make a video for you.